Davin Rhoads, 1-5 from West Virginia, redshirt sophomore from Louisville, Ohio, taking on junior Nate Pelesky, 14-8 on the year, junior from Boswell, Pennsylvania, going for the Fighting Falcons. One final adjustment here of the socks for Rhoads, and underway at 133.
So Rhoads has really been looking for some, some confidence, right? He's battled injuries in the past. He's had a tough time staying in the lineup, staying healthy. And this year, he's finally been able to stay in the lineup and stay healthy, but he's taken some tough losses, and, that weighs on you a little bit. So I know this has got to be part of the process, and coming out today and seeing from himself perspective, right? To just be who he is and start to loosen up and go after things a little bit more.
The aggressor early to score 3.
Nice takedown, running that half. And a bar, right? And probably going to take him out of bounds, I would think.
Kept that hand in for a second, and then out it went, back to the middle.
Well, so the question is, like, what are you waiting for? He's going to be about to call you for stalling, which, okay, not the worst thing in the world, but why take it and just bump out of bounds and get a restart?
23 seconds of riding time in the favor of West Virginia's Davin Rhoads, 3-0 lead.
Attempted Granby roll by Pelesky. Rhoads does a good job just following through and settling the hip down a little bit. So what I like about Pelesky, obviously, is he keeps battling to get to his feet and does some rolls, keeps Rhoads a little off balance there. But I thought Rhoads has done a nice job of keeping his hit relatively tight, following the pressure a little bit, and keeping himself in a good position on top. I think it's good for him to spend a little time there. He hasn't had that in a lot of matches, and he's been working from behind a lot of times, and it's nice to see him be out in front for a change.
This 102 bounce. West Virginia will wrestle against Division II teams from the Mountain State. Glenville State will make the trip up I-79 as well in a few weeks. And I think this comes at a good time in the schedule for West Virginia to kind of get this in after a couple road Big 12 bouts and before you go to a tournament.
Wow, that was, again, my shoulders aren't flexible enough to do that. Rhoads tried to chin drop him and pull him back, and then just sort of held his arm there. And, ooh, that's close to a takedown. He's not going to get it from there. Well, that should be 3.
And there it is.
And there it is.
6-1. And then out of bounds. Got the job done, and now we'll go back to the middle.
Now, that was some good work on the boundary, right? Kept his toe back in there as best he could. Did a nice job of working to finish that and get the 3 points before going out of bounds. Good forwards and backwards, right? Reading the pressure, takes him forward initially, and then he tries to sit back. He pulls him backwards. He's been struggling a little bit with wrist control and trying to get himself in a position for a turn, but has been dominant on top. He's going to have over 2 minutes of riding time in the first period here as we get down to about 7-8 seconds left.
Pelesky was active earlier in this period, but has not been able to do much since we reset in the middle.
Well, I mean, you get pounded down there for a while. That's an area you get really tired, right? I mean, being on the bottom is not a good idea. Nobody draws up the game plan and says, hey, spend about 3 minutes on the bottom and then we find a way to win. That's really not the way that it works.
So as you said, 2:11 is 3 minutes in the first period, accounted for with riding time. 6-1 lead for West Virginia's Davin Rhoads, looking for his second win of the season. And he will once again be on top to begin the second period. Quick escape, 6-2.
Right, just kind of cut him and let him loose. And now, again, to try to do some things on your feet. Get yourself in a bit of a rhythm. Keep your feet moving. Give yourself some good shots. Good job to spin, but Pelesky does a nice job in being able to grab a leg as it comes across. And he's a little long, so you can see Rhoads trying to slide his hip back and break that lock. But Pelesky's still able to keep that with those long arms.
Something Coach Tim Flynn talked to us about before this match was routine and getting in a routine that even if you're winning or losing, getting that pattern that feels good for you. And so far, Rhoads has looked good.
Yeah, I think he's wrestling more his style and more his match, right? He's winning better positions and staying in a good spot. And again, let's talk about the work rate a little bit. He spent a good amount of time on top. But right now, you can see just a little bit of a slowdown, and part of that's Pelesky just trying to slow him down, right? Try to stay in front of him for a little while. And there's a nice duck under. Just a nice duck, and they're both on their knees. That's not the easiest place to do that from. And Rhoads does a nice job of sliding himself through there and getting underneath that elbow.
Third takedown, 2 in the first period, now 1 in the second to build a 9-2 lead. Davin Rhoads. Pelesky would love to get an escape before this period ends, and obviously reversal will be even better.
We're going to get
there.
Stalling on the bottom. As you said before, you know, after a while you're on the bottom. Sometimes you just get into survival mode and try not to get turned. And there's time. Time ran out. That's the only reason there. I've been trying to figure out what he's been trying to do on the top, and that obviously is it. Is trying to step in there and Rhoads not taken down. Just takes his feet.
Already has 2:53 of riding time in his pocket, so wants to work at neutral. Three more.
Good job spinning, turning the corner. Pull his head down, pull him forward, turn the corner.
Escape makes it 12-3.
And so this is the part of the match where everybody gets a little bit tired, right? And this is where you can get a little bit out of position. And if you're not careful, you start either not being able to score the way you'd like to, or you give up some points that you weren't giving up before. We should probably get a stalemate here. No, popped his head out. Nice ankle pick. Not going to get the takedown yet because he still doesn't. There he goes.
15-3 now. Heading towards a tech fall, but only 40 seconds left to do it.
He's definitely got the major decision, right? He's up by 12, going to be maybe up by maybe a little bit more than that.
30 seconds.
So now you want to finish out these last 30 seconds. If you're Pelesky, you want to try to get an escape, see if you can get a takedown. If you're Rhoads, you want to, just like you said, see if I can get a turn, see if we can go to that tech fall. Because that's what you're always looking for from a team standpoint is additional points. If you're in a tournament, you say, well, okay, but there's a team score in a tournament. You're trying to score points for you, yourself, and you're trying to score points for your team. And this little bit right here makes a difference. When you look at national championships like Penn State, they score points and bonuses, and they also score points in the other rounds, right? So that's where you're looking for those additional things if you're going to climb those rankings and place higher, especially in tournaments.
We saw this West Virginia team against Oklahoma where a little bit of that might have won that match instead of being a 2-point loss.
That's exactly right.
West Virginia, a dominant 16-4 win, coming there at 133 pounds from Davin Rhoads. Back